Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on a 21-year-old father that's been arrested and charged with feeding his 2-year-old boy to an alligator. March 29th, 2023. A 20-year-old mother named Passion was hosting her boyfriend's birthday party at the Lincoln Shores apartment complex in St. Petersburg, Florida. Her family would make their way over to celebrate around 4:30 in the afternoon. The party lasted over an hour, everyone left, and Passion was now home alone with her boyfriend and their 2-year-old son, Taylor. Nothing was out of the ordinary until everything went wrong. It was just after 9 p.m. when 21-year-old Thomas Mosley showed up to his mother's house 10 blocks away from his girlfriend Passion's. He had severe slashes and cuts to his hands and arms, consistent with injuries sustained during a knife fight. He'd be admitted to St. Anthony's Hospital to treat his bloody wounds. The following day, Passion's mother would FaceTime her, but the call would go unanswered. This was unsettling as they spoke routinely, and Passion had only been living in the apartment for about a month. Her family decided to just stop by and check on her when they saw a blood trail on the sidewalk coming from her apartment. Her family would urgently contact management, who sent a maintenance worker to unlock and investigate the apartment when he made a horrific discovery. The only word to describe what he saw was violent. Law enforcement would arrive on scene, pronouncing 20-year-old Passion dead on the scene with over 100 knife wounds, as she had been stabbed, slashed, and cut to death. Expecting the worst, a sign of relief came when 2-year-old Taylor wasn't found inside. But now, the question was, where is he? As investigators combed through the apartment, they located a cleaning bottle under a bed with a bloody fingerprint. Inside of the bathroom, next to Passion's body, was a bloody shoe print with a Gucci emblem. A neighbor within the apartment complex had reported a disturbance from the night before occurring around 8:30, but disregarded it, and it's believed this was when Passion was violently attacked. Law enforcement would make contact with Thomas Mosley at the hospital, where he refused to speak. They were able to confirm neither he nor his family had the 2-year-old boy, which prompted an Amber Alert as well as a $5,000 reward for anyone with information relating to the murder or disappearance. Local, state, and federal authorities would launch an investigation, deploying drones and a helicopter while officers and canines searched the ground. On March 31st, members of a search team spotted an alligator in the water with something in its mouth. That 2-foot-tall, 30-pound boy was now clenched between the teeth of a gator. A bullet would end the gator's life, and Taylor's intact body would be recovered, as the responsibility of having to tell a family member how the boy was found now fell on one of the officers. Thomas Mosley was placed under arrest at the hospital, charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the brutal death of his girlfriend and his own son. Law enforcement concluded Thomas stabbed Passion to death before throwing Taylor into a lake, but Taylor's cause of death is unclear at this time, meaning it's unknown if he was still alive when he was thrown into the water. It's believed Thomas attempted to clean up the apartment after the fingerprint found on the bottle was discovered to have belonged to him. Once the hospital medically cleared Thomas, he was officially booked into the Pinellas County Jail, and at this time, no motive has been established, and he faces a possible death penalty under Florida law. Now, this is a prime example of a Florida man case. You go on Google, you type in Florida man, and you're gonna see some of the craziest stories. And a 2-year-old being found in a gator's mouth. One thing about living in Florida, if you grow up there as a kid, you're told by pretty much everybody, especially in school and all that, every body of water, you can guarantee that there's a gator in it, or at least act like there is. You know what I'm saying? A pool, you can see what's in there. Everything else though, like you go to a golf course, they get the little ponds, a lake, a river, any of that, expect that there's gators. So to throw a 2-year-old into a lake, whether or not he intentionally meant to feed him to a gator, thinking the gator would get rid of the body, or he just knew of the possibility, we don't know. We don't even know if that little boy was alive when he went into the water and drowned to death, or if he ended his life with a knife, how he did his mother. We don't know why he even did this. From what I could see, from what I researched, he doesn't even have a criminal record. I can't get into the juvenile stuff. He just turned 21, but he doesn't have an adult record. There's nothing else with this kid. And normally, if he was psychotic or had psychological issues, it would have been reported in the news. The family would have spoke out and been like, oh, my son, you know, he was supposed to be on meds, he wasn't on meds, he was in the hospital, and none of that. None of that. No word about any of that. Or at least it hasn't come out. What would possess somebody on their birthday to murder their girlfriend, stabbing, slashing, and cutting her over 100 times while the 2-year-old boy is at the house, and then kill the 2-year-old boy on your birthday? And apparently that kid had just turned 2, not even 19 days before this happened. It's crazy. And this is one of those things where it's like, what could be done to even prevent this? How can you tell when somebody's about to snap and do something like this? You know what I mean? How can you prevent that? How can you see what's happening? Was there any signs? Did the family know that they had issues? Was there any? It's just crazy. A 20-year-old mother that was working at CVS, got her own apartment, was taking care of her kid, FaceTimed him apparently every day while she was at work. They said the bond was strong and he broke that. In my opinion, I don't feel like first-degree murder is gonna stick unless they can find some form of premeditation, which it doesn't sound like there is. It sounds like it's a crime of passion. Unless they find he had a diary and 3 months ago said, on this day, I'm gonna kill them. It sounds like it's gonna be bumped down to a second-degree murder. They normally overcharge you. And from there, you know, an expected life sentence. There's just so many unanswered questions for me as a YouTuber. I love to dive and dig into these stories and figure out the whys and the, you know what I mean? But I can only imagine how the family feels with all these unanswered questions that may never get answered. They may never know why, and they have to live with this forever. But I'm gonna have the GoFundMe for Passion and the little boy in the comment section. It's gonna be pinned at the top. Drop y'all's thoughts and comments. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Till next time.